Welcome to RGES Algebra 2. This is Lesson 29B, Part 2. So we just finished going over all your homework, and now I want to cover the new concepts, which are going to be 8.11 and 8.12. Now, 8.11 is pretty brief here, and what we want to do is it says, can you express your answer? It says radical applications and review. So we're going to skip over the review, actually. No, that's not true. You'll do your review for homework, but let's talk about the applications. It says the formula, number one, this is 8.11, page 205. Go ahead and go there. It says the formula for the volume of a right circular cone is V equals 1/3 pi r squared h. If r is 2 and 2 times the square root of 3 and h is 6, find v in terms of pi. Okay, that means I don't need to plug anything in for pi. Okay, so we're going to solve for v, so here we are. Pi. R is 2, the square root of 3, squared, because we're taking r and then squaring it, and h is 6. So this then becomes pretty easy. It's just checking that you can use the skills you've learned about radicals when we're dealing with formulas. So we'll look at this 6 divided by 3, or 6 over 3, and that'll be 2. And we'll square this, and that'll be 4 times 3. We'll gather up our numbers. 2 times 12 is 24 pi. And we don't want to, it says then find the numerical answer, but I'm not going to tell you to. Just do it just like that. Okay, let's do another one here. If we say the volume of a right circular cone is 120 pi. Okay, so now we'll go take that equation that we had above, but now we know the volume. So 120 pi equals, we also know the height. So we're going to put 1/3 pi r squared, and the height is 9. Now we need to solve for r this time. Well, let's go ahead and we'll simplify this. 9 over 3 is 3. We'll solve for r squared. We'll cross out our pi's. 3 goes into 120, 40. So if r squared equals 40, what does r equal? Well, r equals the square root of 40. Simplify that, which is, I'll write it in 2 steps. You should be able to do that already here. But that will be 2 times the square root of 5. I'm sorry. Where did I go? Wrong. There's 3 there. Okay, 40 is 4 times 10, or 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. There we go. So we're going to have 2 left over and 5 left over under the radical, and that's my answer. So really, there's nothing new. There's no new concept here. It's just using what you know. And so you will be doing that for part of your homework, numbers 3 through 8. Actually, let's do 3 through 6. For the formulas, and then you'll do some of the reviews also. And now let's go to our new idea, which is going to be radical equations. Now this is a new idea, so let's look at this more carefully. 8.12. Okay, this is not going to be terribly difficult, but you probably could not have come up with this on your own. You've got two radicals here. On the left-hand side, we're going to move the simpler one to the right-hand side. Equals 5 minus the square root of x. Now, if we square both sides of the equation, the left-hand side becomes x minus 5. And the right-hand side becomes 5 minus square root of x squared. Notice this is going to be 5 minus the square root of x times 5 minus the square root of x, or something we would have to FOIL or recognize the pattern. So this becomes x minus 5, first terms, 25, outer terms, minus 5 square root of x, inner terms, minus 5 square root of x, this would be minus 2. I'm sorry, not 2. Okay, minus 5 is minus 10, the square root of x, and my last terms, negative times negative is positive, square root of x times square root of x is x. Now let's simplify this, and we're going to take our radical to the left side. So this will be 10 square root of x. We're going to take my x's to the right side, and they'll cancel out. My negative 5 to the right side, and we'll get 25 minus 5. 25 plus 5 is 30. Divide by 10. And so we'll get square root of x equals 3. Square both sides to get rid of the radical sign, and x equals 9. Let's do another one. The square root of x minus 7 minus the square root of x equals 7. Okay. By the way, with this technique, we can get extraneous roots, so we always have to check it. So let's go ahead and check that with the original equation. It says the square root of x minus 5, well, 9 minus 5 is 4, square root of 4 is 2, plus the square root of x, that would be 3. Does that equal 5? And yes, indeed, it does. So make sure you always do check these equations. They can have what we call extraneous roots. Now, the next one, what do? We have two radicals. Take the smaller or the simpler radical to the right side. You're going to get x minus 7 equals square root of x. We're going to add to the other side. Square both sides. This becomes a binomial, right? So this becomes x minus 7. Square the binomial. You're going to get x. Outer terms and inner terms are both 7 times the square root of x. That'll be 14 square root of x. And 7 times 7 is 49. Take my radical to the left. Take my x to the right, and it'll drop out. Add my 7, and that'll be 56. Divide by 14, negative 14. Square root of x equals negative. That would be 3, right? Nope, 4. 40, 56, there we go. And now square both sides. And we're going to have x equals 16. Check it though, always check it. 16 minus 7 is square root of 9 or square root of 9 or 3 minus 4 equals 7, and that's false. Notice if it had said plus, it would have been fine. Okay, so this is no solution to that particular one. Okay, if you're looking then on the next page, on page 208, they start you off simple. So if you notice, all the problems, let's see here. Quite a few of the problems only have one radical, all the way until we get down to 12. So let's do a couple of those. Number 1, square root of n plus 1 equals 4. Take this to the other side. Square root of n equals 3. Square both sides. N equals 9. Check it to make sure. 3 plus 1 is 4. That works. Okay. Looking at another problem, we have the square root of n plus 5 equals 13. Square both sides. Equals 169. Subtract. Sorry. Let's write that better. There we go. Minus 5. And n equals 164. Check it. 164 plus 5 is 169. Square root of 169 is 13. We're good. Let's look at, this is a good one, number 8. For this one, we'll want to cube both sides, so we want to cube both sides here. So this will be r minus 2, and 2 to the third power is 8. Adding 2, we get r equals 10. Go back to check it. 10 minus 2 is 8. Cubed root of 8 is 2, and that works. Okay. Let me do 18 for my last one. I think I'll let you struggle with these a little bit on your own. They should not, hopefully not that difficult for you. Let's go ahead and isolate the larger, most complicated one with 2 terms there. So we'll bring the other one to the other side. 1 minus 2 square root of x. Square both sides, we're going to get 4x minus 11 equals, this will be a binomial squared, 1 minus 4 square root of x plus 2 times 2 is 4 times x for my third term. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. And so let's go ahead and clean it up first. And 4x minus 4x on both, didn't want to do that. On both sides is just going to cancel out like that. We'll take this to the left. We'll get 4 square root of x. And we'll take add 12, or add 11, you'll get 12. Divide by 4. And you'll get square root of x equals 3, square both sides, x equals 9. Now go back and check. 2 times the square root of 9, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 9 times 4 is 36. That'd be 36, 25. That'd be 5. Does that equal 1? No. And so the answer to that one is no solution. Okay, I think I've given you a lot of examples there. And so that's enough to play with. All right, we're going to stop here. Let's tell you your homework. We're going to have 8.11. You're going to have, for the formulas, do 3 through 6 all. And for the review, go ahead and do 1 through 14 all. And then for 8.12, do 1 through 27 all. Now, next week is Easter vacation. That means you will not have a new tape next week. So you'll be coming back the week after next. Look for a new tape. Okay. And and a new homework assignment. Next week is a break. Okay, so you can use it to catch up, but there's no new work. Lesson 30 will be when you return to class in after Easter. Okay, Easter, I believe, is on the 12th. So at that point, there will be 5 weeks of school left. So do take advantage of this vacation. Enjoy it, but also if you are falling behind, make sure you catch up, because we don't have that many weeks left before we're finished, and you do want to keep up on all of this. All right, next week, no new tapes. No tapes or assignments, right? All right, God bless you, and have a wonderful break. As always, you can text me if you're confused about anything, and I will address that the next time we come together. All right, have a wonderful Easter.